We've just passed the open, and it's E for eManyWizard.com and MarketWizards.com on the 25th of February, 2019, reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. All right, let's talk about how hard a trade this is for both sides. We've got a long side, we're about 20 points away from where we left off on Friday, and about 30 points when you think about the 230 back here at the rain line. So the best trades for the long side, clearly, even if it goes higher, by a risk reward percentage, certainly have to be done already. That said, you can jump in anytime you want in the market and use a 2-point stop or 3 or 1 or whatever you deem appropriate. So sometimes it will go high and you buy high and you sell higher. But the risk reward idea starts to diminish the farther we go. And that's why, for me to advocate just close your eyes and buy at this point, when I suggested last night, let's buy at the 94 to 95 area if you want it. And this morning when we were in early this morning, and I said, looks to me like that, for above 98, it's continuation. And, look to see if we can get, I had said at the time, obviously the 05s. And then beyond that, our next targets were the 8 to 12. Let's think defensively like 12 is more realistic. So to advocate, just close your eyes and buy here, it's hard for me to suggest. There are times like this, you're going to miss some good trades because you don't want to be too aggressive. But that said, you can, it's like when I used to teach swimming and the kids were fearful and they were doing great in the shallow end. And I would take them out into the deep end and their eyes would be, the size of silver dollars at that point because they were, these are third graders, fourth graders. They were scared. It doesn't matter what age you are. If you're afraid of the water, you're going to be afraid. And I kept saying to them, it doesn't matter. I've got a bubble on you holding you up at the level of the water. And I said, doesn't matter whether the water is 2 inches below your feet or 2 miles below your feet. The bubble is still going to hold you up here. And that would help to relax them and then would, do our drills in the deep end. So I'm saying the same thing to you, that the risk reward percentage is terrible here. And yet the bubble that you have is really 2 points or 1 point or 1.5, whatever you deem you want to hold you up. And if it comes back and hits that, guess what? The lifeguard's going to come in and grab you and say, no, okay, we're not going to let it fall 20 points. So that's an analogy that I'm trying to use to help you understand how to think more like a bot, more in a squeeze type trade where the shorts are still being squeezed and probably fairly close to what I would think our target is. And here's our 30. And R1 today is at 12. We know by definition 12.5 is a huge pivot in our system. So you're in the deep end and you're swimming with that bubble. And I'm not thinking that all of a sudden you're going to come crashing down here. I just don't see that unless there's a news event. So this is a more of a squeeze type trade where if you're playing, then realistically, you've got to just keep a trailer and move it up. And if you want to stay sidelines because you hate this open, then stay sidelines. Look at from the time that we've been up, where this thing is just kind of squeezed and squeezed. Anybody that's using 12.5, stop. Don't think about a big plunge. Think about hit and run. Anybody wants to trade short side gives you a better edge, in my opinion. And you're looking for a couple of points. You're not looking for 25 points. And remember the goal. Take 4 or 5 points out of the market every day per contract. That's the goal. We're going to talk about that today. So always come back and look at a smaller denomination, not just a 30. You want to see a 5 or a 10 or a 15. Since we've been squeezing up, I said, let's take a look back at the 5. And if you want to see the 10, which comes next, here's your 10, which I think is a great chart overnight tonight, this last night. Just clearly shows the squeeze. And it shows it from Friday. And the problem is we get too far stretched. That's the problem. And so stolen range is more likely than anything, which means we may be in for fairly choppy IB. So unfortunately, I believe that the best trades long side are done already, even if it goes another 10 points. By odds, the best trades are done right now. And you really need to be aggressive if you want to take advantage of the long side. And short side, there's really, as I said before, there's been no evidence whatsoever that the short sides are in control. These are just profit-taking locations, perhaps, by the longs.